Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Misery. 14. Paul remembered an essay by Edwin Wilson where Wilson had said, in a typically grudging Wilson manner, that Wordsworth's criterion for the good right of good in poetry, strong emotions recalled in time of tranquility, would do well enough in the most dramatic fiction as well. It was probably true. Paul had known writers who found it impossible to write after such a minor marital spat, and he himself usually found it impossible to write when upset. But there were few times when a kind of reverse obtained, that these were times when he had gone to work not just because the work ought to be done, but because it was a way to escape whatever was upsetting him. There were usually occasions where rectifying the source of the upset was beyond him. This was one of those occasions when she still hadn't returned to pit in the chair by 11 that morning. He determined to get it himself. Getting the writer off the mantel would go beyond him. But he could write longhand. He was sure he could hoist himself in the chair. Knew it was probably a bad idea to let Annie know he could. He needed his other fix, God damn it, and he could not write lying in bed. He worked toward the edge of the bed, made sure the wheelchair brake was on, then grasped his arms and pulled himself slowly on the seat. Pulling his legs up onto the supports at the time was the only part. He rolled himself over the window and picked up the manuscript. The key rattled in the lock. Annie was looking up at him. Her eyes burned black holes in her face. Her right cheek was swelling up, and it looked like she was going to have a hell of a shiner in the morning. There was red stuff around her mouth and on her chin. For a moment, Paul thought it was more blood from her torn lip, and then he saw seeds on it. It was raspberry jam or filling, not blood. She looked at him. Paul looked back. Neither said anything for a time. Outside, the first of rain drops splattered against the window. If you can get in that chair by yourself, Paul, she said, then I think you can fill your own fucking ends. She then closed the door and locked it again. Paul sat looking at her for a long time, almost as if there was something else to see. He was too flabbergasted to do anything else. Okay, I know that was really short, but I'm going to stop there, and I'll just see you later.